last
here.
week's link. Damn.
Hold on. I got the link right here for you. This link should
Okay.
be. This is just a direct link to the stream. Check it first, but that should be good. The link did not roll on me when I created a new one, so that's exciting. It did
But that
automatically go live as soon as I pressed it in OBS now. There is no pressing the
okay.
button in YouTube now, because last week that made sense and now it doesn't. But okay,
So
YouTube.
we don't have the thumbnail.
It's playing right now.
It's playing. Yep.
So
Hold on. Now on. We are officially live.
I think so. I'm getting the echo. Okay. So I'm getting the echo. All right. Now I got to
Sounds
pull up what
good.
I'm seeing too. I forgot there's a delay. So I got to pull up what I'm seeing too. All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Canvas Admin Support Hours, October 13th, 2020. My name is Justin Keene. I'm joined by Jake Standish, Amy Slack, and Sagan Shahaki. Hope everyone's having a good day. Jake's showing us his planned view for the day, so hopefully we get to talk about some of that later. And we were just joking about some of the destruction that's happening behind me when my children come into the room. There's a reason we called my little one Taz the Destroyer because, yeah, he's earned a reputation. So, first things first on the list. Hopefully, I was a little optimistic on the link I sent out. You got something, Jake?
Well, Connie's saying she hears the echo as well,
Oh,
but I'm not hearing it as well.
I'm not hearing it either.
Make sure she doesn't have the tab open twice, because we did hear it echo for like 1 second, but I've definitely done that. Yeah. Because I'm hearing
easy
it
to
on
do.
the live stream just as one, and I intentionally muted myself. So
She says
we're
it's
good.
gone now.
Yeah, so
Okay,
we're
good.
good.
Cool. Just want to
Okay.
make sure.
Cool. Sorry.
So I played the role of optimist this morning. I sent out that this is hopefully our new permanent link. I sent that out and they said this might not be, but hopefully it is. We're experimenting with some new things. Yeah, hopefully Sagan and Amy have gotten this to a point where they can then teach us to make sure we've got it as well. So let's start with, if you have any questions while we're going, please make sure you submit to j.mpitpd office hours. Don't forget the slash that I forgot to mention. And we'll start with the reminders. Amy, if you go to reminders. As always, remember we use canvas.cmslearns.org as a resource. We've added one new thing in relation to what we did last week, and that's added a teacher of record change. As we're getting to the end of the quarter and lots of things are moving around, teacher of record information is going to be vital. We've added that to the teacher page and to the admin page. So if you need that information, know that it's there.
And that's concerning the cross-listing concept that we've talked about before. The keyword cross-listing. Teacher of record change will require a cross-list to keep the student data. Yeah. Sorry.
Remember to continue to submit Sharewell tickets and include those details. Give us links to the course, links to the student IDs. Any information you can give us helps us get it resolved faster. If you're taking our PD courses, make sure you use the PD support forms in the courses. Amy is manning that for us and doing a great job. I think we're all caught up.
Yep.
Cool. And then remember, PowerSchool changes into Canvas can take 24 to 72 hours. So patience is a virtue here, just to make sure, you make a change, don't submit a ticket within an hour saying, why aren't we seeing the change? Everything takes a little bit because of all the processes behind the scenes. And then that last link on the reminders is our digital innovation office hours. I think those are still ongoing, so make sure you visit that. Amy, if you want to go back home for me.
So the echo is back.
Awesome.
And it seems to be just your audio, Justin.
Justin, do you have the live stream open somewhere? That's what's wrong.
Yes.
Close the live stream.
Or mute it.
Or mute it, whichever one. Because that's what
it is muted, but I will close it.
It's still going to get your system, I think, unfortunately, because you have it mixed here.
Oh.
Yep.
Connie, is that better?
We'll monitor and let you know.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
So it's going to be a little bit harder for me to see because I don't have it up.
Oh, because you can't see me
sense.
Presenting.
Right. That's okay.
We'll have to
We
think
can
about
wing
that.
it.
We can come up with a plan
Yeah.
for that.
So let me make sure I'm in present view so I can follow along too.
Yeah.
All right. So a couple new things or a couple changes. If you notice on the bottom of our agenda slide, we've got a link for a survey for feedback. Would we get 36 last week, Amy?
Something like that. Yeah.
Something like.
Yeah.
If you've got feedback, please submit that. We're using it in multiple places. Amy's using it for her grad school work, and then we're using it for our team as well. And one of the things as a team that we believe is that growth mindset and being able to reflect, especially when you've got data. And one of the things that has changed for us as we start off today is the office hours support form. When we watched the data from last week's live stream, we realized a lot of people were watching it after hours after we had presented, which is awesome. But it also provided a need for keeping that support form open. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave that j.mp/ITPD office hours open, and we'll man it through the week. We won't answer questions during the week. And then come the live stream, we'll answer those questions if they're still pertinent, and we'll keep an eye on it. This is not a replacement for ShareWell tickets, and this is not a replacement for the PD support forms. But if there are topics that come up while you're watching it and whenever you're able to get to it, just know that's open, and we'll keep an eye on it through the week and then talk about those questions during the live stream. So next topic is going to be due dates for assignments. Amy, do you want to touch on that one?
Yeah. All right. Sorry about that, guys. I'm just checking on what our sound quality is and stuff like that right now. All right. So due dates for assignments. So we've talked about the importance of this. We know that everybody needs due dates, and we know that you're getting that message. But one of the things that might be helpful to show you as a Canvas admin at your site, how to show your teachers how to bulk edit. So this is actually going to take us into our topic about bulk editing. So this was my segue mostly. So to bulk edit an assignment due date, it's actually quite simple. Canvas added this feature not that long ago. But if you go onto the assignments page and have them click on the three dots in the top right corner and do edit assignment dates, they can actually bulk edit all of their assignments on one page, which is quite handy. So to show this for you as a live demo, I'm going to go to a Tech Talk course that I run for my school, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. So we're going to go over to the assignments page over on the left. And sorry, I have two computers going on. And you're going to click on the three dots in the top right. This just wants to be slow on me today. I had everything preloaded today though, guys. Everything. All right. Three dots.
So while that's okay,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah, it's getting there. You can go ahead though while I get there.
Well, the some things to consider here is like you consider the maybe due dates wasn't a priority, and then we announced last week the whole grading terms or grading periods. Making sure that you get those due dates set before the end of this quarter for all assignments that you want to be in this quarter's grading period. So this is a great way to just select all of this quarter's grading periods or this quarter's assignments and set the due date for right at the end of the grading period. So if they don't turn it in before then, it wouldn't be late, or however you want to do that. But it's just a great way to do it all at once.
Yep. So if I click
Hey, Jake,
on
do I
that-
still have an echo? I think I had an extra window open somewhere and I went through them all.
I think you did.
I thought I closed them all. Amy, real quick before you move into it, I did unhide the slides related to the bulk edit because I'd added a couple images as well.
Okay, gotcha.
So two slides.
I think I got to it, but I am showing. Let's see. I got to this one. Was there a second one?
Okay.
Yep, there was.
There was one right after it.
Yeah. So it will show you how to do that. It's pretty straightforward though, as far as those two clicks.
Cool.
Sorry for the delay. So yeah, this is where I'm headed next in the live demo. So inside of the course, I've clicked on the three dots. It's taking a second to load. But you want to draw your attention to this batch edit button. It's going to give me 3 columns of editable dates. And this is a moment to talk to your teachers about what these 3 dates mean. So due dates are very important in order for them to show up on the grades page, in order for them to sync grades, and also for a student to know that something is due. So it gives them a to-do list. But there's 2 other dates. The first one is going to be the available until date. Come on, Canvas, don't be slow. If I need to, I guess I can use your screenshot.
It doesn't like you when we're streaming.
It doesn't love that. It just does not. So I'm going to go back to this because this is going to be a better option.
Yeah,
so
it'll show that's the screen.
That's the screen. Yeah, it's the same thing. I just didn't realize we put a screenshot in here, so that works. All right, so it's going to give us these 3 dates. We have due date. That's the one they absolutely have to have. Available from and available until. Available from means don't make this assignment available to my students until this moment in time. Okay?
Even if it's published.
Even if it's published. Yes, correct. But then the second date is make it available until this time. Then after that, students cannot submit to that assignment any longer, even if it's published. Okay. So these are 2 dates that can kind of override publishing settings, if you will. And so you want to be really careful about these. A lot of times I see teachers who get an error message because what they will do is they will set these 2 dates and they will not be possible based on what the due date is. For example, your available from date and your due date cannot be the same date because it has to be available ahead of time so they can turn it in. And then you can't make your due date after the until date because if you do, then they can't submit it. And so Canvas will pop up with a little red bar. And if you read carefully, it is going to tell you which one is wrong. But that is like the most common mistake I see with teachers trying to set all 3 of these dates. Personally, as a teacher, I only set due dates. I did not set available until and from dates. I worked with published settings myself. I manually did that, or I did prerequisites and requirements in my modules. So I did not personally like doing this. If a teacher has put a date in there and they don't want it, just select all of the text and click backspace. It is possible to remove one if they've already set one. So this is something to be aware of, but they definitely need due dates. Like Jake said, our quarter is coming up for ending. So your quarter ends October 16th. Teachers have about a week, and after that point, assignments in first quarter will lock. So Jake, do you want to talk a little bit about what that could mean and what questions we could see from that?
So the concept, if you have a due date in this current grading period, you should be able to continue to edit that assignment until the grading period is over. Once grading period is over and that assignment is due, it's locked in this grading period. You shouldn't be allowed to modify it because it's from the grading period of quarter 1. And just like in PowerSchool, you're not supposed to change those grades after that grading period has ended. So the same would be true for assignments in Canvas. So if you have an assignment that you know is supposed to end this grading period, this quarter, then set the due date in this quarter. If you want that assignment's grades to be in the second quarter, set the due date in the second quarter so that you can continue to work with it and edit it. Basically, the assignment goes into a view only state, and teachers will not be able to edit those assignments after the grading period has ended. So that's an important piece to be aware of. To note, the grading periods are important for identifying how grades get calculated, but once the grading period is ended, grades have to have been calculated and they can't be changed after that. So it's important to make sure that they realize after the grading period ends, those assignments in that ended grading period will not be, you will not be able to modify them after the fact.
Obviously, that's important for something happening right now. Can we take a second? I know, Amy, you manually handled all the dates, but how would a teacher utilize this assignment from and until? So if I'm thinking, I've got an assignment next week and I want the kids to start, let's say, have it available. It's going to start on Tuesday and it's due Thursday.
So you just said, so let's say I don't want the students to be able to start submitting this assignment until Tuesday. So I would set this date here for Tuesday. On the actual assignment, I can also set time. From the assignment bulk edit, you don't actually see the specific time set. But if you're on the specific assignment, you can say, I want this assignment to open, if you will. I think if this is an open and a close date, by the way, that verbiage is a little bit easier to understand.
Yeah.
So it won't open until Monday at 6 o'clock in the morning. And then it will be due on Thursday, and then it will close on Friday, meaning I don't want students to continue to submit. Now, be careful with close dates because the CMS grading policy says you must always be able to accept late work for some credit. So setting a close date, I actually would never suggest inside of CMS, to be very honest, because setting a close date would prevent a student from submitting late work to you. And so to me personally, I think the close date is actually out of policy.
And if you do not set a available until date or close date, and when a student submits after the due date, it is flagged as late, right? There will definitely be an indicator for you to know this student submitted work late. And you can even make a late submission policy for the default grade that they'd receive for submitting late. So yeah, setting
Now,
available until, you do not have to, and it will just flag it.
If they have not submitted, it is flagged as missing. But then if they submit afterwards, it's after it's so yeah, if the due date passes, they've not submitted, it's going to show up as missing. Then they do submit, it's late, it's going to show up as late.
Yeah, and when you pass those grades to PowerSchool, the little late indicator actually comes with the assignment for you. So you'll actually also be able to see that documentation inside of Canvas or inside of PowerSchool. I don't know that the missing indicator goes with it, but the late indicator definitely does. Yep.
And that goes to our first question. Brianna is asking about this exact thing. So I'm just going to interject in here as we're going, that if a student submits late work and it's graded, it should sync to PowerSchool. And now PowerSchool grade sync is slow, and we're going to talk about that next. But yeah, grades should late work should get to PowerSchool.
Yes, absolutely. So that's a good one. Now, I will talk to you a little bit about how that passback process works and how some teachers manage it. So that's something to keep in mind for today. So with that in mind, I think that's the next thing on our agenda. We've talked about a lot of topics already, guys. Look at us. All right. So with that in mind, the next step we're going to talk about is how to set up and fully troubleshoot the grade sync process. We fully know that some of y'all are still having trouble or having teachers that are having trouble that you're trying to support with this process. Trust me, the tickets speak for themselves. So we can help you with that process. So as of this morning, I've done a little bit more tweaking with this course. Again, you can get to this course by going to Canvas, clicking on the CMS resource folder that will show up momentarily, and clicking on the Canvas PowerSchool gradebook process button, which looks right there. Canvas grade pass back to PowerSchool, that button. Any and every teacher will see that button and will be able to get there, okay? This course looks like this. It was edited very heavily this summer, but also edited as of this morning. So here is the process for setting up a teacher's gradebook. So the first step to complete is something they have to do for every Canvas course, every semester or every year, depending on if it's a year-long or a semester-long course. It is also a step that is very important for troubleshooting purposes. So if at any time you are troubleshooting it and it's not working, go do this again, okay? What this first step does is it connects Canvas and PowerSchool so they can talk, okay? If you don't do this, grades will never pass, period, full stop. Okay, so in order to do this, what the teacher is going to do is they are going to go to assignments in that Canvas course over on the left. They are going to click on the 3 dots in the top right corner. We just looked at this 3-dot menu. All right. And then they are going to click import assignment groups. Okay. This is going to import the categories that we call them in PowerSchool. So you'll often hear me interchangeably call these categories. Import assignment groups, assignment categories. They're the same thing. That's what we're importing. These are formal, informal, and like 5 others that the CMS has predefined for us that can be used in PowerSchool and therefore need to be imported into Canvas. Okay. Now, those groups will show up at the very bottom of the assignments page. It can take some time, okay? This is a click those 3 dots, walk away, go get some coffee, or go do something else for a little bit, and then come back and check on it, okay? At the very minimum, refresh the page, okay? According to Canvas documentation, this can take up to 24 hours, especially during busy periods of time. For example, the first week of school starting. Okay, so be patient if this process does not immediately occur. And I'm going to show you a page where you can check on it. So don't worry, there is a way to know if like you're waiting in vain or not. Okay.
And Amy, that's when we're going through tickets and we get a ticket related to grade passback, this is the first place we're going to in a course. We're going to look for those icons. Absolutely. If those icons are not there, then we know that they have not configured it properly. So that's the first place we go to look.
Absolutely. That's always the first step. So this is where I go look. The way you are going to know that you have the right categories is this little icon. All right. And I actually have a bigger version of that icon on the next page. If that icon is not beside the grade category, it is an illegal category. Get rid of it. Delete it. Don't even let it stay in the Canvas course. At Butler High School, my teachers know if you have a category that does not have that icon, I'm going to start there and I'm going to be very unhappy with you. So the first step is to make sure all assignments in the course have been moved into these grading categories. I have created a quick video that show you how to bulk move all the assignments from an illegal category into the legal ones. And so that video is there. It is silent. There is no sound on purpose. It is just showing you the click process. So you can watch that or have your teachers watch that. Please note again that if any time you experience any issues with PowerSchool and Canvas not working, random students' grades aren't showing up, and entire sections' grades are not showing up. The assignment was created in PowerSchool, but the grades did not come through. All 3 of those issues can be solved by re-importing grade categories, almost 99.9% of the time. Okay? And
it's
our sample
re-import
size is big.
grade categories,
Yep.
wait a little bit,
yes,
and then resync, and then wait a little bit to check in PowerSchool. A little bit could be hours. This might be a process that takes 24 hours to complete.
And after we check to see if that icon is there, that's the first thing we're checking. The next thing we're checking with grade sync issues are the assignments in the categories. So if you've created assignment groups in Canvas and you got assignments in there, but they don't have this little icon, they are not going to sync to PowerSchool.
Yep.
So that is the next thing we're looking at, is we're looking for the little green circles that show it's syncing, and then we're confirming that it's in a PowerSchool passback grade category.
Which takes us to the next step. So I clicked next in the course. This is set up in a module. Again, this is our icon. We have to have that icon. Every assignment that needs to sync needs to be in one of those categories. And then you'll see on the assignment, there's 2 ways to toggle on grade passback. You can do it by in the assignment details, clicking post to SIS and checking that little box. Or you can do it a little bit more quickly on the assignments page. There's this little icon here that can be toggled on and off, and I get that that's probably really tiny on the screencast, but again, you have access to this course, so go take a look at it, please. You'll notice that if it is green and has a check, that means yes, I'm talking to PowerSchool. If it is grayed out, that means nope, I am not going to PowerSchool. So take a look at that. That is how we do it. So we've set up an assignment. We've set up the course. The next step is to push. Now, some teachers like to push manually. Honestly, for the most part, most of my teachers at Butler have been doing this for years. They like to push manually. Some teachers have discovered recently you can nightly sync, and they like that too. It is up to you, but there's a few things to be aware of if you're going to push every single night, okay? So how to push manually first. We're going to click on grades on the left in the course navigation. And then we are going to click on the actions menu. And I did update this picture to try to be a clearer one. I think it's a little bit clearer than my old one was. So they're going to click on actions, and now it says sync to SIS. Yes, the verbiage on that button has changed. Okay, so I've updated that screenshot to show that. When they click sync to SIS, that window will pop up that says success. Yay, I've scheduled it. Not success, I've done it. Success, I've scheduled it. That's an important distinction here. Okay, so that pops up. You don't have to do anything at that point. You just move on in your merry little way. But there is a way to go check. Okay, Canvas will tell you if it did its job or not. And there is a page called GradeSync. By default, this page does not always show up, especially because a lot of the time it was hidden in the Blueprint courses. As we have shown multiple times during Canvas admin hours, this page can be re-enabled by going to Settings, Navigation, click the three dots, click Enable, make sure you hit Save, and then the teacher only and admin only will see this page. Students will never see GradeSync. Okay, so if I click on GradeSync, I will now see a little bit of a different view than it looked like before. It has two tabs at the top, history and settings. One thing we are noticing is it doesn't always keep the log of every single time they have clicked. That can be a little frustrating. But it should show you, at least if you just done it, it'll show waiting, and it'll show like a little clock, like, hey, I'm working on it. It's scheduled. Give me a little time. When it has completed, it'll either show you a complete with a green check or complete with an exclamation point. If it shows you an exclamation point, click on the word completed. A little box will appear and it will tell you what's wrong. It'll look a little weird. It'll look very codey a little bit. But at the end of every little blurb, I would say, it gives you relevant information. If you see words like category or group, that means you need to go re-import groups. Okay. If it says sections, all right, that might mean you need to click this remastered button that I'm going to show you. So if we click on settings, you'll see this button that says Remastered Grade Passback. Click that if you see sections. I found that fixes it if you have a section error there. And so clicking that will fix it.
Is that usually related if the section was added later?
It's not even at this point, I'll be honest.
Okay.
It did seem to be that at first, but I've noticed, at least in my trends at Butler, I've noticed if a new student's been added recently, seems to be sometimes breaking it. And so I'm having them press this button, and it pops up and it says, this will something for all and all, and it means all the sections or something like that. And they click yes, and it'll again take a little time. It'll show a sync on the grade history page up here. It'll show that it's waiting for a little bit. It could take a couple hours, so be patient with it. But I'm finding that if my teachers have re-imported categories and press that button, it fixes it, no matter what's wrong. So these are the two things we want you to try for troubleshooting, because we know that tickets are going to take a little time because obviously we have a lot of them. So if you can be empowered to help your people faster, we would much rather your teachers get that assistance faster. So we're trying to spend this time today to train you better on how to troubleshoot these issues so your teachers don't have to wait as long. So you can step in and assist them, so that way they're not waiting on us. So that's something to be aware of. The GradeSync page should be something you have already checked before a teacher has to submit a ticket, because you might be able to help them immediately on the spot. Okay? So that's how to use GradeSync. Now, on the next page, I have some things to keep in mind that are important. Go ahead.
Scheduling a sync. Is that part of it?
Oh, that was the nightly sync button. That's right. Right beside that remastered button, there is the nightly sync. And it happens between midnight and 3 a.m.-ish from what I've seen. But they can toggle that little thing on. It's night sync, and it'll go on nightly. Things to be cautious of, which relate to what we're talking about next, is if a teacher is making changes in PowerSchool and they have nightly sync turned on, it's going to overwrite that every day. So a teacher has to make a decision here, and this is teacher preference. They can either choose to nightly sync, but then they got to make all their changes in Canvas, okay? Because then Canvas will sync the change, all right? If they choose to make changes in PowerSchool, they need to turn GradeSync off for each assignment as they go. Otherwise, any and all changes you make in PowerSchool will get overwritten the next time Canvas and PowerSchool sync together. So it depends on the type of teacher you are. Some teachers like that they can make all their changes in Canvas, and Canvas and PowerSchool are going to have a conversation every night, and things will get updated. Whoop de dee, yay, happiness, right? Some teachers are like, nah, I want to sync it once, and then I want to have control inside of PowerSchool. That's fine. You are responsible for toggling it off and turning that assignment off so it will not sync over your changes. Okay. So that is the thing here in yellow. I have tried to write that in multiple ways. I have updated the language multiple times. I have tried to explain that as best as possible, but this is something that you really want to make sure is clear to your teachers. And trust me, they'll learn this lesson. It only takes once and they will not make that mistake again. They'll figure it out because they'll realize
And one
I put in all those
consideration,
comments and now they're gone. No. Yeah. It's something to be aware of.
one consideration, because I had a teacher that she would do the one-time sync
Hmm.
and then do all the updating in PowerSchool.
Hmm.
And where it became a point of having to reconsider was when the student goes and looks in Canvas and it shows they're missing an assignment, and then they go look into PowerSchool, but it's complete. That's where it became a point that she reconsidered what she was doing. So it's something to be aware of.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was the teacher who turned it off after it sank once, but I had a late log Google form and I had a whole process for my students that I managed. But I do know that like if we had went to remote learning and I was still in the classroom, I've got a feeling I would have converted to the leave it on and make all my changes in Canvas side of things, just because I could see how that's more needed now that I don't have those individual touch points with students so many times in person anymore.
Also consider, like, we have close to 100,000 observer accounts at this point, so that means parents are looking at the student's Canvas account, not just PowerSchool. They're looking at Canvas and they can see grades in Canvas. So it's not just grades. PowerSchool, all you're ever going to see are grades, and it's going to be after the fact grades. In Canvas, what you can see is the grades. You can also see the upcoming assignments. So the parent is far more able to be proactive about their child's learning. So seeing the accurate grades in Canvas is even more valuable because of that.
Yeah, very, very true. Yeah, exactly. Canvas, I mean, our parents are in there. Trust me. I go into sections of courses now and I see as many parent observers as I do students some days. So
Mhm.
yeah, they're in there, they're watching, and this is important for them to be able to see. Some other things to keep in mind: keep your titles of assignments simple. And I get that the blueprint has pushed a lot of courses with titles, and so you as a teacher may not have invented the title. But as you're helping teachers, if an assignment title is over 30 characters, it won't sync. You'll see that on the grade sync page. It'll be a part of your errors. So make it short, make it make sense, because again, parents are paying attention. So as much as possible, keep consistent with your naming conventions as well. Your assignment or quiz has to have a due date. The date must be the same for everyone in that section. Okay. If you've assigned it to everyone, it has to just be one due date. If you've done it section by section, then the entire section has to have the same due date. You can't have a different due date for like one student or like a small group of students within a section. It's an all or nothing for the section. The due date's supposed to be a school day in PowerSchool for that quarter. I think that still holds. I think that's best practice in general. But I know at one point it didn't like it if it was like a Saturday or a teacher work day. I'm not sure that 100% will prevent it, but that's still just best practice to make it a due date within a school day. The due date can differ by sections, and it cannot be different for student groups. Yep. And then at the bottom here, I put two little blurbs for specifically Canvas admin to help with troubleshooting. So I've tried to explain the two things we've explained here about how to troubleshoot it. And hopefully that'll kind of assist you as you're helping to support your teachers and getting them to be able to use this properly. Because the directions are here. We're just finding that people are kind of not following every single step. And so it takes a time for us to get back to them and help them. So if you can help them faster, that would be great. Yep.
And Amy, one troubleshooting thing that we saw was if they were assigning to everyone with those new sections, sometimes it was missing things. And so we were having the way we were supporting people is that instead of clicking everyone, go assign each section. So click on each of them so
Yep.
they all appear in that box instead of the word everyone. And that seemed to be helping some as well.
Yeah, that definitely is. And it honestly, with the way remote learning works right now, I think a lot of teachers are realizing that assign by section or assign to by section is a very helpful tool. So that's also like a very good thing to be aware of. I think the only other thing I have in here is that if an assignment is in a mastery path, mastery paths are not supported for grade pass back. And that's just because logistically it doesn't work. And there's a lot of reasons behind that. If your teachers are trying to use mastery paths in a more advanced level, just know that those grades would have to be manually entered. And that's straight from Canvas and PowerSchool both on documentation. So that's what I've got for grade pass back. Please check out this course as a Canvas admin, and please refer your teachers to it so that they can be better assisted in this process. All right, so we're going to head over to questions.
Yep.
Yeah. So the first one, Stephanie's asking about the digital citizenship courses and due dates. You do not have to worry about the due dates for digital citizenship courses and grading periods. There are none. All right, the digital citizenship courses do not pass to PowerSchool. There's no quarters. It's just those courses are in what's called the default school term, and that term never ends. We will manually conclude those courses at the end of the year and kind of make those enrollments all conclude. But right now, the work is set to do, I think it's at the end of May. I don't know the exact due dates for all assignments for the digital citizenship courses. You could change those due dates, but you will always have the ability to accept late work throughout the year for digital citizenship. It's different than the standard PowerSchool created courses. And then teachers are reported every time there's an update to Canvas, their grades in PowerSchool disappear. So I guess that would be a question like, so you're passing grades from Canvas to PowerSchool, as Amy said, the grades would get overwritten. The PowerSchool grades would be written over by the Canvas grades. So if the grades were not in Canvas to begin with, the assignment is in Canvas, but the teacher just entered the grades in PowerSchool instead of grading in Canvas. When they sync it, it would write over that. But if it's a PowerSchool created assignment and it was never in Canvas to begin with, there's no name for that assignment in Canvas, then Canvas did not delete it.
It doesn't touch it.
Yeah, it only touches the ones that are in Canvas synced into PowerSchool. But yeah, if a grade was put in PowerSchool that's not in Canvas, when you sync from Canvas for that assignment, it would write over top of it. So that would be my guess as to what's happening there.
I would wonder also if they need to re-import, because occasionally one of the common errors that I see is an assignment will create in PowerSchool but be blank, and usually that's a sign that you need to resync categories because the connection's just broken. And so having them re-import would be a good idea as well. But this could definitely be that the teacher has typed grades in PowerSchool on that assignment. But like Jake said, there's no grade on Canvas, so it syncs over and makes it blank again. So that is something to be aware of. So again, make all your changes in PowerSchool or in Canvas, or turn off Canvas and make your changes in PowerSchool after an initial sync. But you got to pick one, and you got to be consistent. That's the important piece. Yep.
Indeed.
Yep.
Follow up on the digital citizenship. It's so hard to say. Digital citizenship quizzes.
Mm-hmm.
Can students retake if you set a due date? Yes, provided you don't set an available until date. After the until date, if they won't be able to submit, you would also have to make sure that the quiz allows multiple attempts. Now, I don't know for sure, but I believe that all the DC courses, those quizzes allow for multiple attempts. That's how they were designed. So that should not be a problem. They can retake the quiz. Just make sure that you don't set an available until date, because that would prevent them from retaking it after that date.
One thing to be aware of, I think, at least in the high school ones, is we found that they had set it to maybe 5 attempts. So if a student goes through those 5 attempts, you would be able to go to moderate and add attempts for that student, or choose to change that 5 and make it a higher number. Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
There's another one coming in. It just hasn't popped up.
There you go.
Okay. Ooh.
And leave it available until can be left blank, correct? Yes. Available from, so open and close dates can be left blank. Yes. The way they write those are silly. So yes, the only one that cannot be left blank is a due date. The available from and the available until date both can be left blank. And honestly, a lot of teachers do. It does often make things a little bit easier. And as I said, I would not encourage available until dates. Available from dates are kind of your teacher preferences.
Yeah, so we would probably see more of the opening dates set
Mm-hmm.
with the closed dates left blank.
Yeah.
I think the only time really to see those closed dates might be around the end of a quarter. You might see more of those closed dates.
Because you got to finish grading it before
Yeah.
the quarter closes. So yeah, you want to set that.
Yeah. Hopefully that helps. I know that's a lot of information. And remember, as always, you can go to the Canvas guides if you forget or if you want to make sure you're explaining it to your teachers correctly. The Canvas guides are there to help you kind of clarify that. There is a pretty good Canvas guide on it available dates and how that works. And there's also a really good one about the bulk editing tool as well. So keep that in mind if you want some clarification or you want some documentation to help assist you as you teach your teachers. The Canvas guides are the best place to go for that. Yep.
And I think I have links for both of those provided in the presentation as
I
well.
think you do, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
So Jake, I have to ask.
Because we don't have a lot of questions. What do you
Oh,
got to
here
ask?
comes one. Hold on, we got one coming in.
Okay.
Get it started or miss it.
Yeah, so Stephanie, that's a great idea for that. So you can always message students who haven't taken the quiz, who have scored a high score. Like you can set different messages based on how they performed or haven't even started an assignment, and
And to follow that
will
up,
reach just the kids that haven't done or have done what you've defined in the parameters. Straight from the gradebook, you do
Yeah.
that. And just message students who ... and then you'll see a dialogue of how you want to do that.
You can also now do it from New Analytics. I can't show either one of those without showing student data. And since we're live, I can't do that. But again, Canvas guides would show you how. But New Analytics, which is another page that can be enabled just like GradeSync, there is a little envelope beside the search bar at the top. And you can click on that and actually easily message students who. And actually there you can do it not just based on assignments, but based on how a student's doing overall in the course. And also on the work that they're missing. So that's a really cool feature to also check out. That's a great way to work smarter, not harder as a teacher, I would say.
well, and that's when we do our challenge courses. That's how we message people. Like we get people who will finish the scenarios, but don't do that final survey. We'll message them using that New Analytics. Or if someone has started a course but they have not completed the initial quiz, we'll message them just as a reminder. Here's where the course is. So it's a great tool, and you don't have to necessarily do that with due dates, Stephanie.
So yeah, so that's the link, so you can see it from the Canvas guides about how to message students. So we can show what it looks like maybe without seeing student data.
Yeah. Yep.
Maybe.
Yep. Yeah. There we go. So click on the grades, or the little three dots beside the assignment, message students who, and then you can do haven't submitted yet. And I think there's a couple other options there possibly. And it'll actually automatically
the grade,
guess who. Yeah.
like a grade threshold.
Yep.
That kind of stuff.
Yep. And then you can write
really
a personalized message. It's really awesome. We use this in the Canvas challenge and in the Google Drive challenge to send messages as well to people who have not gotten to a certain part. Yeah.
We get results, right?
Yeah.
The participation jumps after we do that. That's just a gentle nudge to tell people, hey, you still haven't finished this and you signed up, so please take a look.
Yeah. What I like about it is we don't, in terms of manual work, it's quick and easy for us. We just go and click, click, go and send our message and move on. So we're not spending a lot of time on that and having to go through every one of them. Let it work for us. So now there's another question. Every time I try to ask about who's visiting us, it's getting me.
Oh.
Excellent.
Thank you,
Connie. We had fun building that. That was a lot of fun.
It was. We make a good team, the three of us.
It's a lot of fun to support. I am finding a lot of teachers who have varying levels of experience with Canvas, and they get into the Canvas challenge. And especially because obviously right now learning Canvas feels more relevant than it ever has before, and I get that. But it definitely seems like I have some teachers who are having a lot of fun with it, who are excited to see learning in a new way for them. And it seems to be really helping. I've talked to a lot of teachers across the district who had not used Canvas a lot before everything. And now that they've taken the Canvas challenge, they feel more comfortable and they feel like they know what they're doing a little bit better. So if you have teachers who haven't taken it yet, I have plenty of people who can speak to them, who can tell them it's worth their time. I know at Butler, my principal and I have both strongly encouraged every single person on our campus, not just teachers, to take the Canvas challenge. Like we've really encouraged counselors, our admin staff, everybody on campus who in any way is in contact with students to take the Canvas challenge, because now it's more relevant than ever that every support staff member also understands how Canvas works so they can support students. So this is really a great opportunity to get some DLCs, but also to learn how to use Canvas so you can better support some students, which is really awesome.
Well, and to follow up to that, I got a text message from my former principal, Dr. Rosenbach. She was all excited when she finished it. She's like, I did it all on my own, and it was very excited and, understood the power of that. And Connie, to follow up, I mean, this is a testament to the leadership that I have as my boss with Jake. Is when we talked about this, it was like, what are we going to do with the Canvas challenge? And we totally just said, you know what, we're starting from scratch. We're starting over and rethinking. And this is the outcome of that.
Yeah. It's an awesome course. Google Drive Challenge also gets some love. It is great too, but Canvas Challenge is more relevant right now.
Yep. Indeed it is.
Yep.
So Jake, who's our named friend with us today?
Oh, the wicked one?
Yeah, I want to see the wicked one.
So this is
Jake likes green in the house. He came to he's like, he's got to have it.
I grow a lot of plants. This is my Euphorbia granicornis. It is a cowhorn cactus. And the spikes on it actually look like little cow horns, not so little cow horns. And he's very wicked. If you walk up to him and get a spike, it will hurt. The sap of all euphorbias is very, you're allergic. You'll have an allergic reaction to it. You should not get it in your eyes. Trust me, it doesn't feel good. But I like wicked plants, and this is indeed a wicked one. So yeah, he's got some branches I'm going to tear off, and I'll have even more. This was the top of an 8-foot tall specimen. So he's now quite happy at about 3 feet tall, and got a couple other pieces that will keep growing and just keep making more. This is just one of many of my different green babies that I nurture in my home.
That's awesome. We've managed to keep a coffee plant alive and the 2 little skull guys. What are those things called?
Those are succulents that are in there, I believe. Yeah, some jade probably.
The last time we had one of those from Trader Joe's, the little one ripped them out.
Yeah.
Where's the brain cactus?
Yes.
He does have.
I don't have. Well, I have a different variety of brain in here, but sometime, we could do a remote session and go downstairs to the 3-foot diameter giant brain. But this is a different type of brain cactus. He's fun.
He's cool.
Yeah. He's got a nice blue tint, blue green that is unique, and not many, but there are spikes, and when you get them, they really get your attention. Good fun. Oh, wait. Trish, you're right. I do have a piece of the brain. Now, Trish has a piece of my brain. I gave her a piece a while back, but this one
was my doctor.
This one is right. This is a hilarious one because it's like it looks kind of like a poop emoji, I think. But This is a very small piece of a brain cactus. I have one I can't even get my arms around. He's so big. So, yeah. Anyway.
So instead of bird watching this year, we're apparently incorporating plants, which is cool.
Hey, we've done some show and tell this year too.
We have. It's good for
We
mental
have.
health during all of this. That's
Yes.
for darn sure.
Yeah.
So should we add requests for show and tell for these live streams?
For
Give me
campus
trouble.
admin. Remember, you can give us feedback on our feedback link.
All right, digital citizenship course again. Should I set a date for May instead of end of the quarter so students can start the lesson and retake? It's really up to you, Stephanie. If you are trying to get your students for that grade level to finish an assignment at a certain time, set a due date, and it will show up in their to-do list. Hey, you need to do this. And it will show up soon because it's set for some time in the near future. And even if they haven't submitted it and it's past that due date, it still shows up in their to-do list because they haven't done it. Okay. So setting a due date for the time when you would like them to submit it is always advised. Just do not set the available until date because that would prevent them from taking the quiz after that date. Okay, so due dates, yes. Set them when you want them to be completed. Do not, I would caution at setting the date in May because they're not going to see that on their to-do list. It's going to be on way out there in May on their calendar. If you expect them to get some aspect of the course done before May, set the due date before May. They can still do it after the due date though. Cool.
Can I show off my one show and tell?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Because I put them up on the wall. Let me see. This is why I was not a high school teacher. This is why I was a high school teacher, not an elementary teacher. But I have to, because I would have never thought to do this.
I don't think
it's showing up on there.
Yep.
So the assignment was the turkey needs to make it until Thanksgiving. And so my son, I think he was in kindergarten at the time. So this is what we turned the turkey into. We made Darth Turkey. So we literally printed off and colored a mask and some lightsabers. And my son wanted to make sure he had a cape. So this is Darth Turkey. And I ended up laminating him. And he keeps getting mad. He's like, you stole my turkey. I'm like, yeah, I know. We earned this though. So
yep.
I think that turkey will stay with you your whole life.
Oh yeah,
he's older. He's been in every office that I've ever seen you in.
I'm proud of that. We had
very.
My wife was looking at me.
Every right to be.
She's like, "This is why you're made for boys because you do stuff like this that She goes, "I would never think of." Yeah,
I wouldn't have thought of that. I'm not gonna lie.
That was like the day. That was like the day that we had the little what do you call them? The little parachute guys. And my wife comes downstairs and we got a box on the floor and a target and we're tossing them off the top to see if we can hit the target, and the box turned into a cave, and then I got in trouble because I threw him into the fan, It was awesome.
Science, right? Like they're learning all kinds of things right there.
That's awesome. That's what we do.
Yep. Experiments. It's what's worth it.
So just a quick reminder, j.mp/ITPD office hours. If you have technical instructional questions. If not, we're just going to do our show and tell and crazy stories.
And don't forget,
next will be Amy's turn. So,
I was going to say, I'll have to come up with something at some point. Yeah.
And don't forget that we're going to leave that form open now.
Yeah.
And this is for our crowd that watches at different times other than the live stream. And what we do is we've got it up so we can kind of monitor it, and it will help us actually come up with topics for the next week, or if we start to see trends or questions that come up, this would be great.
And reminder that this is not in place of help desk tickets. If you've got a mission critical, this isn't working, put in a ticket, because this is something we only look at weekly for these sessions. Yes, we will probably curate those, and if there's a bunch of the same type of things, we'll make a composite and address it as one instead of answering each individual question that's the same question, like, can you review how grading periods affect due dates or something like that? we might, I answer a lot of questions in one piece, but for the
Tickets
most part,
and
these are just once a week where we're taking a look at this and talking about it, and it'll be during this session. So it's more knowledge, not fix it kind of things.
yeah, the tickets and the support form remaining daily.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
As fast as we can on the tickets.
yeah.
But we do appreciate those of you who are joining us asynchronously. I think that the survey was actually really useful, and the fact that we moved to YouTube, by the way, is why, part of how we got some of that data. Is we're able to see the views now, and we're able to collect some of that data a little bit better. So it's actually kind of nice to know that a lot of you are joining us asynchronously. So we wanted to open this up to y'all, so we understand that because you're not joining us live, you may not have the opportunity to submit a question right inside this hour. So if you need to submit your questions after the fact, we'll be able to get to you at least by the next week. So that way we can still address even our asynchronous participants. So that was kind of a useful grad school assignment. Who knew?
Yeah, very.
It happens every
It's
once
always
in a while.
it's always good when the work isn't busy work.
Exactly. I didn't mind doing this project. Who knew? Yep.
You're getting close to being done, aren't you?
Yeah, I'll have to do like I don't know. There's probably some other big write up, I'm sure, coming.
Yeah, the internship.
Yep. I think I'll have to write up the next piece. I'm taking 2 classes right now with the same professor. So that gets a little confusing. I don't know what assignments for what class. I just do them all.
Is it both SVT?
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
She's
So
great.
I just kind of work on whichever one I feel like working on that day. So, yep. They overlap a good bit, so it helps.
Well, I think we're 10:56.
Yeah. We don't have any other
Guess
questions.
we'll
Sign off early.
sign off early.
Thank you,
Jinx.
everyone. Oh, you owe the Coke.
I do. All right, everyone. Thank you all so much. We'll see you next week.
Have a good one.
Have a good one.